It's Sunday, the 5th of February 2017, and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Buddaranaika. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Chairman of COPE says the government should take over the Trincomalee oil tank, which is under the Indian Oil Corporation. Voice Against Corruption reveals new information about the fraud and corruption of former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran.
Sri Lanka Mahabankuwen මෙරටේ මහජන මුදල් 163 වතාවකදී ලක්ෂ 660ක් වංචා කරලා තියෙනවා.
Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne says that no decision has been taken to abolish the civic rights of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. University students and parents protest against the suppression of students.
Now the stories in detail. The Voice Against Corruption movement made a revelation regarding former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran today.
බැඳුම්කර වංචාව අතිවිශාල එකක් වෙනකොට
By the time the bond scam had become one of the biggest scams, Arjuna Mahendran had already committed several small-scale thefts. He has swindled 66 million rupees of public funds from the central bank in the country on 163 occasions. This is a report compiled by the Internal Audit Department with details dating up to the 1st of August 2016. It contains details of the dues in the former governor's overseas travels and his credit card payments. We exposed details that he had purchased a clothing item from Europe worth 2 million rupees. This has been paid for through such methods. There are also payment dues for the former governor's entertainment expenses. Then there are also shortcomings in the payment for ordinary official expenses. There are also shortcomings in the administrative expenses immediately after Arjuna Mahendran left. The head of the STF was arrested for misusing a sum of 140,000 rupees of public funds. In that case, Arjuna Mahendran should be behind bars for the 66 million. It has been 5 months since this report was compiled. What measures have been taken to date?
Speaking further, Vasantha Samarasinghe expressed the following views.
These reports not only show the fraud at the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, but also the fact that Arjuna Mahendran, Ranil Wickremesinghe's best friend, used the central bank like his company drawer. So it is people wearing clean suits and rob the people of their money who are affiliated with Ranil Wickremesinghe's United National Party government. Arjuna Mahendran has stayed at 2 hotels in one day. He must have taken an unofficial female assistant along with him, because if it was his wife, they could have stayed in one room. This was during an IMF summit in India. He has learned the art of thievery from birth. Get the bill for 2 days at the very least. Ranil Wickremesinghe portrayed Arjuna Mahendran as a clean and pure person and appointed this foreigner to run the operations of the central bank. In the end, while the country incurred a massive loss through the bond scam on the one hand, he swindled 66 million for himself.
Samarasinghe also pointed out that several irregularities had taken place during the administration of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Arjuna
Mahendran and Arjuna Aloysius didn't start stealing under this government. Together, these two did the same thing with the ministers even during the Rajapaksa government. They purchased Grain Elevators PLC shares on the stock market for 15 rupees each and then sold it to the EPF at 268 rupees each. Even the Mendes Liquor Company was brought over by Arjuna Aloysius. According to the Excise Act, the tax for each bottle of liquor must be paid every 15 days. If not, their liquor license cannot be extended. But Arjuna Aloysius' company is keeping the license with a sum of 840 million rupees due as of the 31st of January 2016. And now the Finance Ministry is influencing the matter.
Vasantha Samarasinghe also expressed the following views.
Arjuna Aloysius is now constructing a liquor factory in Nilaveli, and that is being funded. The ministers and MPs of this government have got onto one bandwagon and are putting the people in a difficult situation while they have a jolly good time with the money scammed through the bond issue and the tax money of the country. These are the methods they are using to buy over media institutions, newspaper organizations, companies and financial institutions. So we ask, at a time when the law is not being enforced against corrupt who swindle public funds, under what law has this government opened the doors to convert this money into white money?
Finance Minister Ravi Konnanaika called on the chief prelates of the Mallothu and Askiri chapters of the CM sect today. The minister had briefed the chief prelates on the 2017 budget.
Minister Ravi Konnanaika first called on the chief prelate of the Askiri chapter, the most venerable Valakhagoda Yanaratan Theru. Subsequently, the minister visited the most venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera, the chief prelate of the Malvatu chapter. We had included the suggestions of the chief prelates in the budget, so we came here to inform them of this and to fulfill the vow we had made.
The chief prelates and the general public are saying that there are problems with the economy and that the cost of living is high. The chief prelate had discussed this with you. How much longer will this situation persist?
You are all aware that the prices of 24 out of 25 essential goods have been reduced since the 8th of January 2015. There are problems with rice and we are taking steps to reduce it. We wish to reduce the tax burden in the future.
The chief prelates say that although it was said the previous government was engaged in fraud and corruption, none of the money that was embezzled has now been recovered. What do you have to say about this?
We have entrusted the law to the courts and the job of policing to the police. We do not use white vans and threaten the media. You must ask them. We are not the people who should respond for those with stomach ulcers, who do not do any work and wish to take money. I do what the President and Prime Minister tell me, not what other ministers say. Just because people who joined us later on, people who initially worked against our victory, are now asking questions in cabinet, we need not worry. We are on the same journey with the President and the Prime Minister. This is being said by 2 or 3 people. They are suffering from jealousy.
Minister Gayantha Karunatilaka also called on the chief prelates in Kandy today.
The minister visited the chief prelates to brief them on the Right to Information Act. Minister Karunatilaka visited the chief prelate of the Askeri chapter, the most venerable Varakagoda Nyan Ratna Thera, before calling on the chief prelate of the Malvatu chapter, the most venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera. Secretary to the Ministry of Parliamentary Reforms and Mass Media, Nimal Bopage, was also present at the occasion.
Askeri Mahanayaka Mahimpanan Vahanset, I met
with the chief prelates of the Askeri and Malvatu chapters and held talks with them about a key point. There is a demand from the people of the country today for the appointment of an independent media commission. We are hoping to obtain the views and ideas of religious leaders, the general public, intellectuals and the media organizations regarding this.
Co-Cabinet spokesperson Minister Rajendra Senaratne says no decision has been made to annul the civic rights of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The minister had made this statement during a meeting held at the Ministry of Health. Issuing a statement today, the media division of the Ministry of Health refuted reports that the government had decided to annul the former president's civic rights.
The Committee on Public Enterprises has informed the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation to acquire the oil tank situated in the Trincomalee Harbour as a memorandum of understanding between the IOC and CPETCO is not valid. The chairman of COPE said that reports have been called at ministerial level in this regard.
The Trincomalee Harbour is the 5th largest natural port in the world. Its importance is further highlighted as a result of the oil tanks that were constructed within close proximity to China Bay during the Second World War. There are 102 tanks with a capacity of 12,500 cubic meters at the location. With only 100 tanks that are in a usable state, the area has been divided into 2 sections with 17 tanks in the lower tank farm and 83 tanks in the upper tank farm. The upper section is capable of filling locomotive oil tanks as well. Several tanks are being used by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and 84 of them were leased to the Indian Oil Corporation in the year 2003 based on a memorandum of understanding between CPETCO and IOC. The MOU states that the legal documents in this regard will be finalized within 6 months of the MOU being signed. The chairman of COPE says that ownership of all tanks in the areas has reverted to the government since the legal documents had not been finalized as stated in the MOU.
We call for a report on this in Parliament. The officials reported that there are 14 tanks being used by IOC and that there are another 85 tanks which can be filled. India is not only asking for the port, they are asking for the 85 tanks as well.
Without anyone's intervention, as the minister, I went and observed the complex. At present, we have forwarded a cabinet paper and we have given out a contract to provide a business plan to find out how this can be used in a manner that would benefit the country.
සකස් කරලා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න කියලා.
However, a group of IOC employees had interfered and caused hardships for employees of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, including a deputy manager when they arrived at the location on the 29th of December last year. The police had to intervene and extricate the CPETCO employees.
The government is even scared of companies. The second matter is that this belongs to the government. If there is oil that is stored there, you can supply it to the whole region. If they use it, they can distribute oil to the north and the east. If there is a drought in the future, oil needs to be supplied to the power stations to generate electricity. That is why the CPETCO employees went there. The government has taken a policy decision and has given this to India as a ransom payment. That is why the IOC is doing this. Or else, the minister is not implementing what is decided in the cabinet. They are saying to come there to take it with the permission from India. The Trincomalee oil tanks, which are the property of our country, should be acquired by our country immediately.
ත්‍රිකුණාමලේ තෙල් ටැංකි සංකීර්ණය වහාම රටට ලබා ගත යුතුයි.
Meanwhile, the Auditor General's department says that a report will be provided on the matter of leasing these oil tanks to India. When News First made inquiries, Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe said that the necessary steps will be taken soon. The unions charge that CPETCO has lost a large portion of its income due to the agreement.
Two other companies have asked for this location to store their oil. The monthly charge that was agreed at that time was $1 million. Today, the amount will be larger. There are 100 tanks that can be used. They should not be waiting for COPE to say it. There is a policy in this country. There is an economic policy and this needs to be done. But the government does not have a policy to develop the country. The only policy this government has is to sell. These oil tanks being given free of charge to India is an example to paying ransom to all those who helped Ranil Wickremesinghe to create the government.
උදාහරණයක් තමයි මේ ඉන්දියාවට මේ තෙල් ටැංකි ටික නිකන් දීලා තියෙන්නේ.
No, the payments due to the government are being made even today. COPE has the ability to discuss this. I got to know that they have. The minister has not been informed.
අමාත්‍යවරයා හැටියට මට නම් සිදු කළා නැහැ.
Parliament has a responsibility and we hope to reconsider agreements that are harmful to the country and agreements that destroy the rights of the country.
A man accused of involvement in a heroin and narcotics racket was hacked to death in Wanathamulla, Burala this morning.
The murder took place near the MH Mohammed grounds in Wanathamulla this morning. The police say that the victim, Chamara Sandaruwan alias Roshan, was set upon by two men armed with a sword while he was walking towards the sports ground. 43-year-old Roshan was married and was residing in Wanathamulla.
Medical faculty students and parents staged several demonstrations today to protest steps taken by the authorities to disperse a demonstration organized by the Medical Faculty Student Activist Committee in Colombo recently.
Parents of students at the medical faculty of the Peradeniya University staged a demonstration today. The group, calling themselves the Peradeniya Medical Faculty Parents Collective, commenced their demonstration at the medical faculty and marched to the Galaha Junction, blocking both lanes at the Kandy Colombo Road. Our correspondent noted that more than 200 parents and students participated in the demonstration, causing major traffic congestion. A group of parents of medical faculty students joined with the Government Medical Officers Association for a demonstration in the Mathura town today. The protesters, numbering close to 400, marched from the Uyanmatha grounds in Mathura to the Mathura hospital, and from there they proceeded to the Mathura bus stop.
We are not fighting against the education of students in Malbe or students at other private institutions. As a parents association, we have taken to the streets today to fight for the children's right to free education.
They maliciously fired tear gas on that protest march, following which they attacked them with batons. 21 students were arrested. A group of students from the Karapitiya Medical Faculty and their parents staged a demonstration this morning. Our correspondent says about 200 protesters participated in the demonstration held opposite the medical faculty of the Ruhunu University.
Meanwhile, the Parents Association of the private medical college convened a media briefing this morning. The parents sought to explain accusations that have been levelled at the private institution in Malabe.
The degree is awarded in the proper way, and as per the Ministry of Higher Education, the rights are equal to those of government medical faculties. It is because it is equal to the MBBS degree that the court has decided that these children have the same right as the others to seek registration at the Sri Lanka Medical Council. The Court of Appeal has responded. The response states clearly that the MBBS qualification at CITEM is the same as the MBBS degree offered at government universities, and that the students must certainly be given provisional registration. The Universities Act has given the Higher Education Minister the power to award degrees, and that power cannot be usurped by anyone. It has been approved by the Ministry of Health, and no other body, not even the Medical Council, can refuse to act accordingly.
A video of 4 students engaging in a public display of affection at a school in Western Province is circulating on social media platforms at present. While Newsfirst is in possession of the video, we deemed it inappropriate and harmful to the future of the 4 students to broadcast it. However, we did make inquiries from the Minister of Education, Akila Viraj Kariwasan.
We
need to enforce stern discipline in schools in such cases. This is why, as the Minister, I too have made several disciplinary decisions in the recent past. If such actions that are harmful to society are taking place, then we must take action against the heads of these institutions. Mobile phones cannot be used inside schools. I believe that the teachers and principals need to take necessary steps to prevent this. I also request all teachers to be aware at all times of the behavior of their students.
හැසිරීම් රටාව පිළිබඳව දරුවන්ගේ ක්‍රියාකලාප පිළිබඳව අවදියෙන් සිටින්න කියලා මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
යන්ත්‍ර ලබා දීමේදී ඒ පිළිබඳව මොකද ඒකේ තන්ත්‍රජාලය හරහා පරිහරණය
නෑ අපි ටැබ් පරිගණක ලබා දෙන්නේ විධිමත්.
No, we will be gifting the tab computers to a proper system. We know what needs to be blocked and what needs to be allowed. Thereby, students will not be able to access inappropriate websites.
යාමේ කිසිම හැකියාවක් නැහැ.
Renowned Professor J.B. Dissanayaka also spoke to Newsfirst regarding the issue.
ඕනෑම දෙයක් හොඳට නරකට
Any instrument can be used for good or bad. Just like our mouths, we deliver sermons using our mouths, and we also spout profanity using our mouths. In the recent past, we discovered an important instrument in the form of the computer. So you must decide whether you will use this instrument for good or bad. This cannot be regulated by the law. The individual must make the judgment. Parents must help and guide their children in these matters.
ඒ සඳහා දෙමාපියන් උදව් කරන්න මේ දරුවන්ට.
A new fitness centre and gym in Albania, which is to be declared open tomorrow, was inspected by Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka today.
The fitness centre is to be declared open tomorrow by President Maithripala Sirisena. The media questioned the minister who engaged in the tour about the possible cabinet reshuffle.
ඒ පිළිබඳව ඇත්තටම
I think the President and the Prime Minister have discussed it. I think a review will be done and they will look into our shortcomings and decide where there should be changes. If there is a need, they will make some changes, and this is a good opportunity for it.
තුමන්ලා සිද්ධ කරා ඒකට හොඳ අවස්ථාවක් මේක.
The media also questioned the minister about a statement he made about bringing in foreign labour.
මේ රටේ ඉදිකිරීම් ශාස්ත්‍රය
One of the main reasons for the country's construction industry to come to a standstill is the shortage of a workforce in the country. Therefore, we invited those who are unable to engage in paddy cultivation due to the drought to come here. That has happened now. It is those who have come to Sri Lanka from neighbouring countries like India and Pakistan on tourist visas who work on our construction sites illegally. Not only that, it is those people who are engaged in paddy cultivation as well. If this continues, it will soon become a serious problem. Therefore, this needs to be made systematic, because already there are around 200,000 individuals who work in the country in this manner.
රට ඇතුලේ මේ විදිහට සේවය කරන මේක අපේ සමගින්න මොකද අපේ ශ්‍රමිකයෝ නැති හින්දානේ.
It is due to the shortage of our workforce that this has happened. If our workforce comes, we will welcome them gladly. There aren't people to work. Therefore, I make an open invitation to all to come to our ministry, and we will ensure employment with a daily salary of 1,500 rupees.
The railway crossing in Mabula Kuskama along the Kalaniveli railway line was declared open today. Speaking at the event, Minister Faisal Mustafa expressed the following views.
There are some who are trying to create a new political party with the symbol of the flower. But I also must remind you that the chairman of the party is Professor G.L. Pires. We all know that he is a politician who turns the book to one side on one day and to another on another day. They left the SLFP and then came back. But they became backbenchers. If you try to destroy the SLFP, you will be in the backbench of the party. The group that had come there with the UNP was jealous when the discussion was going on. Even though they were silent at the discussion and though they came out and said various things, the former president gave us the definite message that he will not divide the party. I saw on the news yesterday that he was asked whether he was from the SLFP or if he is from the party of the flower bud. He said he was with the SLFP and the GLP is from the party of the flower bud.
A bridge was declared open in Lunugambehera in line with the Udagammana program today under the auspices of Minister Sajith Premadasa.
The bridge was built at a cost of 29.3 million rupees under the Samatasana program. During the previous regime, the government conducted various activities. Politicians laid foundation stones back then, saying it was for various development purposes, and they gave the contracts to their nearest and dearest. The people of the village did not know whether the work was done, how it was done, or who did it. And then they came and declared it open as well. But after 2 or 3 years, their work starts to crumble. There are large cracks in some places. Now there are a lot of people who ask what the difference this government has made. The difference is that now you have the right to information. What happened during the previous regime?
ලොක්කගේ හිතවතුන්ට දුන්න කොන්ත්‍රාත් ටික. ලොක්කගේ හිතවතුන් නොඉන්නම් ලොක්කගේ පුතාගේ හිතවතුන්ට.
Gateway College Dehiwala held a walk in Colombo today to commemorate its 20th anniversary.
The walk was organised by Gateway College Dehiwala, which was followed by a fun fair.
Maintain this true spirit of Gateway, where children grow up in an environment where they receive international education, grow up as true Sri Lankans, giving necessary attention to Sri Lankan values, the culture, and growing up in a disciplined environment.
Speaking to News First, the principal of Gateway College Dehiwala elaborated on the objective of the walk, themed A Step for a Book.
We like to do something for the community or for people who have less privileges, especially children. And so the proceeds of this walk and the fun fair will be used to organize and establish a library for the Digalla Revata Madhya Maha Vidyalaya in Kulyapitiya. We will name the library RIT Alas Library, so that the 20th anniversary is also symbolized there.
On to sports news now. Havelocks SC were stunned at home by Kandy SC at Havelock Park this evening as the Kandians claimed their position at the top of the points table and a chance to claim the title of league champions next week. Now, it was a day of missed opportunities and bad luck for the Park club, who, despite dominating the points table for much of the league, gave way in the face of a resurgent Kandy outfit. Following a tightly contested first half, the scoreline was at 6-8 in favour of Kandy at Lemons. Eventually, the game was won by Kandy's pace and power in the latter stages of the second half with some elegant scoring. At the final whistle, the scoreline was 26-11 in Kandy's favour. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great week ahead of you. Good night.